Hello. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky, USA. Today is Monday, January 13th, 2025. The weather today in this area of Kentucky, Lexington, the high will be 35. And currently is sitting at 34 degrees and feels like 28. As most of the country knows, we've been in a winter storm sequence over the last week or so with the accumulation of snow and cold weather. And actually, I think Saturday it warmed all the way up to freezing and felt almost like a heat wave. And Sunday it was all the way up to 40 degrees. So here we are, Monday, January 13th, 2025. Morning clouds followed by afternoon sun, highs in the mid-30s and lows in the mid-teens. A La Nina advisory is in effect. Today, sunrise was at 7:53. Sunset will be at 5:40 p.m. here on the East Coast in Kentucky. The wind, 7 miles per hour, and the AQI is good at 41. This is a sideshow. As I said, I'm Theodore Parker, and if you're watching, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So, welcome to 2025. A quick question. How many of you have written 2024 for the date this year? I'm just messing with you. Don't worry about it. Well, let's do a quick recap. We had Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and we're into 2025. And if you didn't know and were watching the New Year celebrations on TV, waiting for the ball to drop in Times Square, New York, New Year's Eve, that particular ball has seen its last New Year's Eve celebration. They will be replacing it with a new one. After Winter Storm Cora, 49 of 50 states have seen snow. Guess which one didn't? Of course, Hawaii. Well, I said that I would be taking the winter break, and it definitely has been that, a winter break. So catching up, the effects of the winter storms has interrupted services, forcing closings and delays. And Kentucky has 120 counties, the most for any state except for California. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is giving continuous updates on the progress towards getting things back on track. One thing I did learn from having all this snow, all of us do some walking outside. Some places the sidewalks are clear and some are not. Here in Lexington, it's the responsibility of homeowners to clear the sidewalks in a timely fashion. That I did not know. Anyway, Mayor Gordon, who happens to be a woman and mayor of Lexington, has suspended that requirement until conditions are better. Speaking of California, Governor Gavin Newsom has had his hands full arranging emergency services and help for those displaced by the wildfires in Southern California. Celebrities, according to the news, are staying in hotels. With so much loss of property and belongings, I can imagine a conversation like, I don't even have a bag of beans. The person, you don't have a bag of beans? Nope. Well, I got beans. Well, I got water. And so it goes. Currently, that brings us to the loss of life associated with events that have taken place over the last several weeks, starting with terrorist attacks on Bourbon Street to where we are now, weather-related deaths. My sympathies to all of you. According to news reports, the wildfires in California were started by a man burning a structure with a flamethrower, who was later physically subdued by his neighbors and held for the police. Again, it brings us to the grieving process. When I was coming up, it was attending a funeral. The passage of time has seen some changes. You might hear attending a memorial service or a celebration of life. I, for one, admire the courage it takes to make the change. Let me explain. We as humans are wonderfully made. If you stump your toe, bang your knee, hit your elbow, you'll say, ouch. Later, you can say what happened, but you can't recall the pain. But if you have a pleasurable experience, you can recall that feeling. All of us have that song that's tied to that special summer experience or that special experience that when we hear it, we say, that's my jam. So I hope you see my point. Top stories for today, Monday, January 13, 2025. Number one, India kicks off a massive Hindu festival touted as the world's largest religious gathering. Next one, we're witnessing a new Mark Zuckerberg. Welcome to Zuck 3.0. Prince Harry, Meghan Markle slammed by Justine Bateman for being disaster tourist amid California fires. NFL playoffs divisional round, scheduled previews for the AFC and the NFC. Eagles played Green Bay and the Commanders played Tampa Bay. And which reminds me, I've read somewhere that Serena Williams' husband is an owner in the Commanders. Okay. Apple pushes back on call to end diversity program. Italy releases citizen held on a U.S. warrant over drone attack in Jordan. I have been saved. Kidnapped Tanzanian activist found hours later. Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin stands down on his much-hyped New Glenn rocket launch, citing vehicle subsystem issue. Governor Gavin Newsom slams Trump's misinformation about California wildfires. And number 10, China's trade surplus surged close to $1 trillion days before Trump's big new tariffs are due to land. So before I close out, I did want to touch on a couple of things. Last Thursday, and prior to that, there was a memorial service for former President Jimmy Carter. He served as president from 1977 to 1981 and lived to be 100 years old, which is unusual in this day and times. And that's even more significant because a few years prior to his death, he had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. So since that's on my timeline, I thought I would make a few comments. One of the things that I remember about Jimmy Carter is his implementation of the Habitats for Humanity, which is still active today. And an offshoot of that is a chain of stores called Restore, R-E-S-T-O-R-E, which makes available household goods and products, and the two are tied together. So I think that's considering the passage of time, a strong legacy to leave to a country, from your presidency. And for those of you who were not born at that time or have been born in the 2000s, it's similar to President Obama's Affordable Care Act to me. So I just wanted to put that in. So prior to that, government buildings that had U.S. flags were flown at half staff. So he was laid to rest in Georgia last Thursday. Former President Jimmy Carter, dead at 100 years old. And since we are in the winter months, Winter and snowflakes. How many winters have you seen? How many snowflakes have you seen fall? Well, I just want to put this fact out here. I consider it kind of mind-blowing, but I'm going to leave you with it. No two snowflakes are identical. So as you trudge out to work or take care of whatever things you got, errands you got to run, and the snow's on the ground, because it's going to be winter until March 20th. Keep that in mind. No two snowflakes are identical. That's it. Hashtag